Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, good to see you all here. Let's just double check this chat box. Analysts, hosts, perfect. Could you all just let me know? Can you see the chat box all okay? If you can, just let me know where you're tuning in from this afternoon. Having a quick look down the registration list. We've got people from all over the place today, which is amazing. I'm going to try and lift the chat box up so I can see. Joe, good to see you. Amazing. Just to make sure that you're all in the right place, today we're here to talk all about lead generation, LinkedIn, social selling, digital marketing. So just to make sure that you know when you're joining, we are going to be talking about those things as we move into the next hour and a half together. Graham, good to see you at Cambridge. Pritesh from Leicester. Let me know as you're joining, just whereabouts you're tuning in from. I'll give you about a minute or so, and then we're going to get straight into this today. Some cool updates to give you, along with some of the real foundation stuff that I talk about a lot. Swaddling coats, where all my dad's family are from. Good to see you, Simon. Kevin from Wimbledon, Mel from London. We have Cape Town in the house, which is amazing. It's where I grew up. I did a couple of years in Cape Town when I was younger. Amazing. Hello from Barcelona. There we go. Nano, great to have you here. Awesome stuff. Right. So just as we're all getting into this today, could you all just do me a favor? As I look to share my screen. Hello, John. Good to see you. What I'm going to do is just pull that into presentation mode, open up the chat box. Then you all see the nice, pretty pink slide that should be showing now. I'm hoping my audio is all loud and clear as well. I'm guessing it is. It was echoing when I was recording a new YouTube video earlier, which is a bit annoying. So I'm hoping it's kind of sorted the problem now. But just as we kind of rock and roll into this today, we've got some really important things to go over as a team, as like I like to call us. But my biggest focus is going to be all around revenue generation for you today. So how you can turn the social media activity that you're currently doing, whether you're using LinkedIn or any other channel, to be fair, because everything that I say will be applied across them all, and how you can start utilizing that to start making some more money. It's no more complex than that, today's presentation. It's very straightforward. Nothing that I'm going to tell you is probably anything you haven't heard before. It's probably just going to be said in a way that I'm hoping will help you realize the importance of putting it into place and taking some action away from it. So as we move into this, I have 3 specific aims for today within that 90-minute period that we've got together. Number 1 is to give you a no-holds-barred session of advice, guidance, and pure information. I'm going to pretty much brain download as much as I can within this hour and a half. So please make sure that you've got a notepad to hand. I will most likely give you hand ache. I get that a lot. So make sure you've got a notepad to hand. If you've got your phone with you, that will be helpful. We're going to do some practical exercises today. And once we've kind of gone through the advice and the guidance, I'm also going to introduce to you a way in which you can work with us. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to be talking to you about today has been tested and tried with a number of our clients that we've got on our books. We have over 230 clients that we work with to date. And I'm going to be talking to you a little bit of how you can do the same thing. And then at the end, we're going to have an open Q&A. So I do these once a month. I do them at the end of these workshops as well, where you get your chance to basically ask me anything that you like. Now, please make sure that if you do have any questions throughout today's session, that you use the Q&A box. If you use the chat, I'm just going to lose the question altogether. It goes a little bit crazy in there throughout this session. So if you could make sure that you use the Q&A box, I'm hoping you can all see it. Just let me know in the chat if you can see the Q&A box all okay. And I just want you to I want to emphasize that there are no questions that are off limits. Please ask away. I will help you in any way that I possibly can throughout this session. So to kind of get this session going, what I'm going to do is I will tailor make the advice that I give so it's relevant to all of you. I will use different examples, I'll use different stories, and I'll make sure that it applies to each and every one of you in here. So if you could just let me know what it is that you specifically do. So in terms of your business, what does your business do? Or if you're an employee, what do you do for your organization? It'd be really, really good to get a little bit of clarity around that. And then secondly, what I'd love to know is, out of this session, what is it specifically that you're looking to get out of it? Is it an update on LinkedIn? Is it The strategies that are going to help you make more money? Is it that you want insights into how to perform better in your role? What is it specifically that you're looking to get out of it? So there's two questions there. If you've been on one of my workshops before, you will know that I will not move on until I get some answers coming through. So if you could just type for me what it is that you do and what it is that you're looking to get out of this session. I want you to get typing. So we've got a few people already coming in. We've got Vinod with property and strategy. We've got an online fitness coach working with some professionals wanting to get better at LinkedIn. That's cool. We've got a life coach, corporate looking for more leads. Amazing. Diversity and inclusion consultant who's an empowerment coach. We've got Craig who's a BDM. Amazing. Good to have you here, Craig. I'll make sure it's relevant for you. Mel, you won't be able to see everyone's chat box. I'll explain to you why you won't be able to see everyone's chat. We get some funky comments come through every now and again, which basically I just hide because it's not relevant to you. So you won't be able to see everyone else. I can see them. I'll read them out as we go through. So Susan, who's a consultant. We've got Graham. Obviously, Graham, I know you very, very well. Good to have you here. Maurice, supply engineering components, looking at generate more leads on LinkedIn as well. Okay, that's great. Fantastic stuff. So we've got a lot of people that obviously want to know more a little bit about LinkedIn. That much is obvious. We are going to 100% cover that. We have lots of consultants and also a few different salespeople on here as well. So I'm going to use examples that will be relevant for the both of you. So you both get benefits out of today's session as well. So I hope that's all okay. Now, I think it's important to add some context to today's session. Over the past 18 months, some of you may have spoken to me before. Some of you may be brand new to me. I spend lots and lots of time speaking to businesses for free, right? So I run strategy calls a lot where we will jump onto a call and we spend 30 minutes getting to know kind of like the insights into people's companies, what's going well, what isn't. And what I'm noticing a lot within my own business with Pipeline 44 and what we do, but also with our customers and then the 1,200 plus businesses that I've spoken to over that 18-month period, is that there are some real common reasons why people don't see results from social. And what I want you to do is kind of think about the 5 that I'm going to break down for you and just let me know which ones may slightly relate to you. Because the content throughout today is very much going to be based around these things, because this is how I can get instant results for you when you apply this stuff. Now, number one is that the message that people are using online, so whether that's in your content, whether that's on your profiles, whether that's on your websites, your landing pages, your emails, or even in the conversations that you're having as salespeople, the message that you're communicating is no longer relevant in today's market. Obviously, there's lots of stuff that's going on in the world right now. And one of the common mistakes that lots of business owners make, and lots of people within these corporate organizations as well, by the way, not just startups and scale-ups, but business across the whole market, is that people don't frame their message in the right way so they can stand out, so they can gain the attention. And what happens is that you end up being one of those people that people just scroll past. So I'm going to talk to you a lot about today of how you can start standing out, how a subtle change in message can actually be the difference maker between somebody completely ignoring you and moving on to a point where they want to buy from you, to speaking to people that want to buy, and all you need to do is work out if you want to work with them. All starts within that messaging mistake that people make. Number 2 is, it's quite a harsh one to admit, but I definitely felt this when I first started, is that the content that I'm putting out, when people were originally looking at it, it wasn't really worth any time being spent on it whatsoever. Like, I wasn't somebody that was worth following. I wasn't adding any value, which is obviously a cliche statement, but I also wasn't really providing anything that people should spend any time on at all. And I ended up blending into everybody else. This is something that I've transitioned and learned over time in terms of how we can gain attention and how to keep it. And again, within the content section today, we're going to be going through how you can do that. Number 3 is the biggest bugbear, is that people believe they have a great product and service, but they don't have enough traffic. They don't have enough people knowing who they are and what they do. And therefore, they're not having the number of conversations that they need to be able to grow their business. Common phrases that I hear all the time is that when I get someone on the phone, I can close them. My close rate is great. However, I don't have enough people coming through. That is something that we get a lot. And therefore, what we need to create is a traffic acquisition strategy, which is basically a real marketing glorified way of basically saying, How do we get more people through the door so we can have more conversation? That is a big problem in lots of businesses at the moment. Number 4 is the thing that I find the most sexy, that you may not right now, but by the end of this, I'm hoping that you will, is that you don't have currently a predictable and sustainable process to conversion. I'm going to explain more about that throughout today. And then the 5th one is what the majority of the conversations that I have highlight, is that most people use social. They use these platforms because somebody has told them that it's a good idea to do so. Someone like me has told you that social media is something that you should be using for your business. However, the strategy that you create is more based on the hope of someone eventually reaching out to you rather than confidently knowing that somebody is going to every single week without fail. Now, just in the chat box for me, could you just let me know if there was one thing out of those 5 that resonated with you the most? Which one would it be? Would it be that you don't believe your message is right, that you might not be worth following, being bluntly honest with yourself, that you don't have enough traffic, that you don't have a process, or is your strategy based on hope? What are the one of the 5, right? That they tend to be the most common ones. So the one that I always see coming up is traffic. So number 3 is the one that's most popular. And it seems to be the same thing today. We have a few people that are saying that we need to get a strategy that isn't based on hope. That's totally cool. So a lot more 5s coming through now. Let me see if I talk about 1 where the 1 comes through. The message isn't quite relevant enough. Okay, no 1s coming through yet. But the important thing to realize here is that this stuff is actually very easy to solve, right? And when I talk you through what's going on with LinkedIn and how you can start to leverage this platform, you're going to start to see the things that you can do to make the change that you're looking for. And what I've done throughout this session is break it down into 3 specific sections. So part 1 is going to be all around your message and how you package everything up. So how you can frame it so people start to pay a lot more attention to what you're doing. Part 2 is then going to be around that sexy thing called process. And then part 3 is then going to be around the LinkedIn update specifically and where you should be spending your time to generate the consistent traffic. They're the 3 sections that we're going to go through today. But before I do that, what I want to do is just provide, for those of you that don't know who I am, just some context around the fact that you can trust what I'm talking about. Now, there are a lot of my customers on this already today. I can see the names coming through. And the thing that I do above all else is look to simplify all the stuff that I believe gets complicated in marketing. You only need to check out my YouTube channel or anywhere else to be able to see the straight to the point advice that I give. But the key thing for you to remember is that no matter what big numbers I state on here, it doesn't matter where you are on your journey. All we're looking to do is help you improve and take that next step. So my only focus point throughout today, and I'm not going to spew all the stuff that's on the screen there for you. My only focus point for today is to help you realize that this stuff is possible. I know lots of you may be looking and feeling that social media isn't the place for you to generate business, or you may be using it and just frustrated at the current results that you're getting. My job throughout this session is to help you understand what you need to do to get more money online. That is it. I'm not going to teach you how to build a massive audience of millions of people because I've not personally done that for myself. I have 40,000 followers on LinkedIn, on Instagram. I have just over 10,000 on LinkedIn. I've got 1,000 YouTube subscribers. I have not built a multi-million person audience. What I have done is helped people make a lot of money. And this is the stuff what I want to focus on for you today is what things you need to implement to be able to generate more revenue for your businesses. And to give you like the explanation of the types of businesses that we've worked on before, there's the list of them. We've pretty much now worked in every industry apart from pharma. Pharma tends to be the one that we haven't worked in. We've just not had the opportunities come through for it. But our sweet spot is service-based business owners, the consulting industry, so the management consulting industry, and also kind of like the solopreneur market, the consultant, the coach, those sorts of demographics. And the stuff that I'm going to teach you today is stuff that I'm practically implementing right now, right? So it's stuff that is real and working at this current point in time. If you check my LinkedIn, my YouTube, my podcast, my Instagram account, all the stuff that we're doing to promote our services, you will see the theme of how it all flows throughout the stuff that I'm teaching you today. And the first question that I want to dive into here for you is why throughout this quarter, I know we're halfway through the quarter now, but also moving into 2023, why I personally am going to be focusing on LinkedIn and why I believe you should be doing the exact same thing if your ideal clients are on this platform. Part one, or number one, should I say, is down to this whole terminology of organic reach. Now, I've just mentioned to you before that I have an Instagram following of just under 40,000 people. Instagram was the account that I started on. That was where I first started to build my audience. It wasn't Facebook, it was over on Instagram. And I basically just documented my journey online. For the first year and a half of me building up my audience, I had huge amounts of organic reach. I was reaching around about 500,000 people every single month. And over a period of time, because of the way that the platform was changing, what happened was that they started to reduce the amount of organic reach that I was getting. And therefore, made me consider other platforms that I can be using to generate traffic and attention. And that was where I found LinkedIn. I met my business partner, Sam. She taught me all about LinkedIn and how to leverage it. And you can see on the left-hand side there, I don't have a huge following on this platform. This has been built over about a year and a half, 11,800 people in about a year and a half. And over a 7-day period, I was able to reach 100,000 people for free. On Instagram, I'm lucky if I reach 20,000 people a week now. And this is the difference with these platforms and where you need to capitalize on the opportunity, because reach across the majority of social media platforms right now is only reducing. The only ones where it's going up are currently LinkedIn and TikTok. They're the two where you can get huge amounts of organic reach for free. I've tried TikTok. It's just not the place where I'm able to get the business to business leads that I'm looking for. And therefore, I put some content on it, but it's not part of my overall social media strategy. My strategy evolves around 3 specific platforms: LinkedIn, YouTube, and email. And I'm going to talk to you about all 3 of those today and how they work hand in hand. LinkedIn at this current point in time, there may be new platforms to come about, but it is the best place to be able to get a B2B audience. So if you're looking at going B2B within your market space right now, then LinkedIn again is your best opportunity to be seen by the businesses that you want. And if you look at the usage time, you only have to look at your own mobile phone screen time to be able to see this, by the way. But if you look at your own screen time and you look at the stats that sit there on Google for you that showcase this stuff, over the last 2 years, people are spending more time on this platform than ever before. And it gives you the opportunity to build great relationships through the types of content that I'm going to talk to you about today. But the bit that I want to highlight is that all of these platforms are moving in one direction. All of them, without a shadow of a doubt. This is what's going to happen over the next year, 2 years, and 3 years, because we've seen it time and time again. It's happening on LinkedIn, and it's happening on here, and it's happening on TikTok, and it's happening on YouTube. It's happening everywhere. Organic reach is being limited and is going to reduce. So if you're not capitalizing currently on creating the right types of content on this platform, now is the time to do so while the opportunity is still here. I'm going to give you some hints and tips on how to do that throughout today. The second reason why is, unlike any other platform right at this current point, it gives you the best opportunity to go out there and proactively build an audience. On Instagram, you're relying on other people following you. On YouTube, you're relying on people subscribing to you. On Facebook, you're relying on somebody accepting a friend request or somebody friend requesting you or liking your page. On LinkedIn, it is encouraged for you to go out there and proactively connect with people. And with the way that these filters work, whether it's via someone's name, via the groups that they're in, via the business or the industry that they sit in, you are able to filter to get a very, very targeted list very, very quickly. And what I love about this is that if you can send 10 to 20 connection requests to the right people, maybe you'll get a 50% acceptance rate. That may be 5 people a day. But you do that every single day, that's 150 people. If you can convert in a 35-day window, 10% of that 150 people, that's 15 clients every single month. And this is what we start to base our marketing strategy around. It's based on the numbers. And it all starts with having this opportunity to build your audience up every single day. So if you're not doing it, now's the time to proactively go out there and do it. Because when you do that, you can start to look into the lead generation opportunities that LinkedIn directly gives you. And one of those strategies is the one that you're actually a part of now. Some of you may have come from this whole LinkedIn workshop process, right? And we run this every single time we run one of our workshops, whether it's in person or it's online like this. We will create a LinkedIn event. Now, some of you may, let me know in the chat box, by the way, if you've received an invite from me for this event today through LinkedIn. Just let me know so I can kind of get an idea of how many have come through this process today. But we create the event up and then we proactively invite people to it. Now, what this gives us the opportunity to do, rather than trying to sell in our content, rather than trying to sell in our direct messages, which is what lots of people default to do, what I get the opportunity to do is rather than get to spend 30 seconds maybe on you watching my content or reading a message, I get to bring you to a place where I can give you even better in-depth content, which is really going to help you. What that will do is if you're the right type of client for us in future, it might not be today, it may be next month, right? Maybe 3 months later on down the line. But if I'm the right person for you and our business is right for you, if we provide the right content, you will make the decision to come and work with us. Now, we obtain an email address throughout this process. If you register for today, we get the email address. So automatically, we're generating new traffic every single time that we run one of these workshops. And we don't have to spend a penny on advertising for it. All we have to do is put the effort in. And over the past 12 months, we have generated just from LinkedIn event inviting 6,500 email addresses for free. To put that into context, if you wanted 6,500 leads, I'm using my phone as my webcam today, so I can't do the math. But if somebody does 6,500 times by £35, that is the amount of money you could expect to spend to be able to get 6,500 leads if you are using Facebook and Instagram advertising right now. We do that and get that for free. Now, this is where I really want to highlight the importance of this stuff because traffic is becoming harder and harder to get. Graham's done the math. That's £200,000 that it would cost. Over £200,000 to be able to generate that amount of traffic. We've not spent a penny. It's done for free. And if you're not running this type of campaign right now and your business could do it, here's your incentive to start doing so. And without me going into all the content so far, what I really want to get is your permission on something. And I ask this with every single workshop that I ever do, is do I have permission, even though you may not want to hear some of the advice that I've got today, might not be the thing that's going to be the most friendly. Do I have permission to be blunt and 100% honest with what's working and more importantly, what isn't working on these platforms? Just let me know for it, just so I can make sure that I go into the detail before I go insulting anybody, which I really don't want to do. I'll try not to do it today. Good, we've got people coming through. Be blunt, you have my permission. Good stuff, appreciate that, John, good stuff. Okay, let's get stuck in straight away into this, okay? Part one, like I promised, is going to be all around packaging. And this is all about the importance of defining the right message for you. It's about staying relevant and it's about packaging an offer that stands out. And I'm just going to tell you the truth straight away. If you don't have this correct right now, if you don't have a message that's relevant to today's market that captures attention, unfortunately, you're going to be leaving lots of opportunity on the table. And this is where we can start to make instant change to the way that you're marketing right now, because when you realize that your prospects, your audience at this current point in time on LinkedIn or on any other social media platform don't care about how great your product is, once you can overcome and accept that, that's where we can start to work out how to be different. And there's 3 examples that I'm going to talk you through on the right-hand side of how this is so relevant. The first example is Fred. Now, Fred we work with, I'm going to talk about his story in a bit more depth a little bit later on. But the real thing that you need to realize around Fred and what he does is he's a great sales consultant. He's absolutely fantastic at what he does. And what he was guilty of, and we've had lots and lots of in-depth conversations around this, is this terminology of this method of just giving loads and loads and loads of information. Whether it was in his content, whether it was in his message, whether it was in his workshops, whether it was on strategy calls, whatever it was that he was doing, he was falling foul of just spewing loads of information out. And the problem is is that when you start giving out information that isn't 100% relevant, that doesn't make a difference and help your ideal client make a decision, you end up confusing and overwhelming and causing procrastination on their side. So what we focus a lot on, and what I need you to focus in on, is really getting into your ideal target market's head and working out what it is that they need to hear to be able to make a purchase decision and nothing else. Why should they buy from you? What are the core reasons why they should buy from you right now? When you start to work out what these are, and we do these in sort of like in-depth conversations, which I'm going to introduce you to in a second, but when you start to work out what those are, I'm going to give you examples of this shortly. When you can work out what those are, you can start to move people through your sales cycle, through your customer journey really, really quickly. And this is where we can start to turn ourselves to be much more proactive marketers. And this is what's going to give you that consistent revenue generation that you're looking for. When you start holding back all this information that I know you care about and only giving out the stuff that matters, that's where you're going to start to see a much more efficient process. The same thing with the webinar that you see in the top right-hand corner there. It was about an hour and 15 minutes long. And what this person was guilty of, because I watched these in depth, right, and I'll give you full feedback on them. But when I watched them, what I was hearing was lots of information which made them sound clever. It's a really important thing. It was information where you listen to it and you're like, oh my God, this person really, really intelligent, right? Like they get it. They obviously know their stuff. But what then I default to as a watcher is, but why should I care about it? It's great that you're talking to me all about how the brain works. So it's great to tell you about all the ins and outs of LinkedIn. But why is that relevant to me? What is it that I can do about that to be able to move myself forward? Remember, every single time somebody comes across your content, every single time someone reads your message, every single time someone jumps onto a sale, what all they're thinking about is what's in it for me. So the way that you frame your message has to be in that way. And the same thing there, you can see a group call at the bottom. We have a lady that's in our group that focuses it all in on personal branding. And personal branding is a huge topic. It's very, very close to my heart. But the reality of the nature is you don't really care about the ins and outs and the technical detail around personal branding. You just want to build one. You just want to grow one. You just want one that's to a point where business comes to you. So you get some inbound leads coming through. So me spending an hour talking to you all about the technical science behind personal branding and all the psychology that goes behind it, you'll sit there and go, great, Chris, this is really valuable, but you won't do anything with it. And what happens there is you go away and nothing then moves forward and you end up just getting stuck. So my duty isn't to give you the technical science behind this. My stuff is to give you the limited amount of information you need so you can move forward. And this is what you all need to do with all of your businesses right now, is think about what is the stuff that you need to say and why is now the right time to solve it. So what is it that you do? Why is it so important? And why is now the right time to solve it? This is the stuff that you need to be getting out there on LinkedIn, on all of these social media platforms and anywhere else that you're trying to market what it is that you do. And we need to be communicating it so consistently and so frequently that people do not forget who you are. And whenever the point they get to where they realize that they need to be able to lose a few pounds for the fitness consultant that's on here, when they need to be able to move to the next step in their personal development journey for the mindset consultant that's on here, but when they need to get more content out there for the social media agency owner that's out here, you're the business that they think of. You're the person that they think of because they've been hearing you nonstop over and over and over again. And this is where we need to really get moving with all of this. And it just showcases to you right now the importance of defining the right message. So again, these are just some questions that I want you to think about right now, okay? And then the first one is, why should your ideal client care about you and your business? Now, if you're an employee of a company now, I want you to have these conversations internally as well with your team, with your managers, with maybe your board also, but really get a clear understanding of why. As a salesperson, it's impossible for me to be able to relate and understand what my ideal clients are going through if I don't understand what's going through their heads and why it's so important for them to make the decision to solve it. You need to know the detail behind underneath these. The second question will help give you more clarity around this stuff. And that is, what have your ideal target market tried before Or what are they still doing to this day that's holding them back from achieving whatever result it is? I don't care if you're a window cleaner, right? I don't care what it is that you do. I used to have a lad that worked for me called Phil Walker, who started off his window cleaning business. This stuff applied to him. There were so many window cleaners around Aylesbury. Like, why on earth would they choose him over anyone else? What are these window cleaners doing wrong that he could do differently to be able to pinch the business? We worked it out. And there were different tactics and strategies that he could apply to the way that he cleaned windows. As ridiculous as it sounds, but you only need to go and watch his YouTube channel. Go and type in "See It Clean Aylesbury" on YouTube, and you'll see the difference between him and all the other window cleaners out there. This stuff, it doesn't matter what business you're in. If you understand this information, you can position yourself in the right way. That third question, sometimes it's really hard to answer. Like, why is what you do different? In reality, we're a LinkedIn content agency. We're a LinkedIn marketing agency. There are tens of thousands of LinkedIn marketing agencies out there. What makes us different? Well, for me, it's the straight to the point advice that we're going to give you. It's the ability to be able to put myself in your shoes, to know what you need to be saying in your marketing to get it right. We're not a marketing agency, right, that sit here and go, well, what do you want to post today? We're a marketing agency that look at it and we go, right, you need to be saying this to get this right. If you want to attract that ideal client towards you, this is what they're thinking right now because we do all the research behind it. And this is what you need to be saying. The amount of times I'll sit there on one of our Q&A sessions, which we do each week, and somebody goes, right, I don't really know how to market myself. And I get them to give me the example. I don't even know their business that well, but I can really go into like a role play type environment and be able to give you what it is that you need to say. That's what makes us different. There are not many people out there that I've come across that were able to do it. And I know it because my background was originally in property. Not to go into too much detail around this, right? But my background was in property and we went through 4 or 5 different marketing agencies that all did the same thing. We signed a contract for 6 months. We sat there and then they went, what do you want to do? And it's like, well, that's what I'm paying you thousands of pounds for you to give me that advice to help me. And so what I noticed was there was a gap in the market with this advice, right? With this strategy. And I knew that was what was going to make us different, our ability to do it. And this is what you need to do is in the same way. You need to work out how you can position what you do in a different way. And then that last question is just something to kind of keep you on your toes. Like, when was the last time you switched up the way that you present your service? And an example of this, if you go and look him up on LinkedIn, is a guy called Ashley Cannon. Ashley started working with us and he has a very, very successful cleaning business and he wanted to help other people because he kept getting bombarded with so many questions. Ashley thought originally the biggest problem with cleaning businesses is the lack of leads, the lack of business. So he wanted to create a product that would help people get more of it. We mapped out his process and we used a bit of software called Funalytics to be able to create the process. And then he started to go through. And what he realized was that he started to get leads because of the implementation of the process. Now, after having conversations with his ideal target market and going through things, what he realized was that lead generation wasn't the problem. The biggest problem was that they didn't know how to build their teams properly. They didn't know how to scale efficiently. They didn't have the right operations in place. And the moment we changed that was the moment that he saw clients coming in. So you can see client number 2, yes, let's go, got the sale confirmed today, because he was talking their language. He was talking about the stuff that was relevant to them. And when he did that, that was when the results came through. And this is where we start to get into the nitty-gritty detail of this, because what we need to do is consistently identify how we make our service relevant. And again, there's another set of questions just to get really deep into this for you. Why should your customer buy from your business? When is the right time to buy? If you ever look into something called opportunity cost, it's one of the most amazing things that you can have in your business. Understanding what is the opportunity cost of somebody not buying from you now, but delaying it for 6 months. What is that going to cost them as a business? Can you put that into your marketing? Can you put that into the way that you approach your sales conversations? When you can work out what the opportunity cost is, you can present it to them to be able to generate the urgency, to be able to generate and help people make the decision. And if now isn't the right time, you can tell them that and advise them that and get them to come back a little bit later on. That next question of what are the consequences if they wait, again, just adds the context. Some people don't know what the consequences are going to be if they don't make a decision. Do you know what the consequences are for them if they don't make the decisions to buy from you? What happens if they do delay it a year? What's going to happen? You need to know this detail because it's going to enable you to be able to generate the urgency so people then come out and say, I want to work with you. This was the difference maker for us. When we started to talk about this information online, that was when people started to listen and pay attention. And this is just going to show and highlight to you the importance of getting your offer right, because this example here of a virtual assistant, Sasha, she worked with us for around about 18 months. And again, a typical virtual assistant, for those of you that don't know, charges by the hour, okay? And when you charge by the hour, do you know the way in which you remain competitive in a virtual assistant market when you just charge by the hour? By discounting. So originally you'll start off your pricing at £15 an hour, then you'll get to £13 an hour, then it will be 10, and then it will be 8, and then you're like, why on earth am I doing this in the first place? So the answer isn't discounting. The answer is switching up the way that you package your service, and that's what we did for Sasha. So rather than it being an hourly service, we changed it to a service which was very much focused in on diary management, event management, and social media management. And what we then did is develop a niche which allowed her to stand out from the crowd. And by doing it, this is how quickly it happens. Within 2 weeks, it was 45 grand's worth of business coming through. This is where we need to look at each and every one of your services and start applying the difference maker, which is the way that we frame it, the way that we package it, the way that you start talking about it in the open marketplace so you can get the attention that you need. And this was the same thing for Jamie. Again, I'm not going to go into detail around what Jamie did, but Jamie is a property trainer. And rather than just releasing the everyday property course that everyone else was doing, he created an 84-day challenge program, drove people through it. The results spoke for themselves. And because we knew it was different, what it enabled him to do, this is the generic ClickFunnels award that you win when you do £1 million within a year's period, when you put £1 million through. Matt was with Jamie yesterday. Jamie's one of my close mates. We worked with him for around about a year and a half. And these are the results that you can expect to really put into play when you start the difference making. You may not make £1 million, right? He's a great case study. He's done amazing work, amazingly well. But whether it's making an extra 5 grand or it's making millions of pounds, what we need to realize here is that the way that you package things, the way that you frame things is the thing that makes a huge difference. And at the end of today, what I'm going to be offering you is a chance over the next few days to speak to me. Now, there's only 15 of these available, but on those calls, we're going to go through your message. We're going to review your offer and what's going on right now and review your message. And we're going to start to highlight the starting point and talk through kind of how we can start helping you work through and implement this process. So just let me know in the chat if you want one of those calls. I'm going to be talking to you about how you can book one at the end. But just let me know. And what we'll do is we'll just map out exactly how you can start to implement the stuff that I'm talking about so you can start to grab that attention. Now, I know I've spoken really, really quickly there, and I know I've brain dumped a lot on you. And I don't mean to cause overwhelm whatsoever, but what I'll do is summarize it for you before we go through. So in terms of how you package up things, part one, the first thing that I can say is, look, what we need to do is work out how we can find a message that disrupts and stands out. Simple as that. We need to work out what's going through your ideal target market's mind. And a way that you can do this is just by going away and talking to your clients, or even better, talking to people that have referred you in the past. Go find out what they're saying about you and how they're selling you, because that is the gold information that you can collect and then start to put it into your own marketing as well. This one is a real big one. With everything that you do, what I want you to think about here, whether it's content, messaging, workshops, sales calls, whatever, is really ask yourself, why should people care about this? And if you can't give a compelling reason as to why, you need to rethink what you're doing. And then take the time, once you've done that, to start putting purpose into the time that you're spending on this stuff. So when you're creating a piece of content, like think about, right, why should people care? The answer to why people should care should be the headline of the post. So you grab the attention in the scroll. It's something that sounds so simple, but if you start to do it, you're going to start to see the results and a much better return on your overall engagement. That why should people care bit is everything, because we don't have that much time on social. So we need to use the time in the most effective way possible. Now, before I move on to section 2, was part 1 helpful? Do you have any questions around part 1? If you do, please put it into the Q&A section and I'll answer it at the end for you. But does that make sense? Have I lost anybody yet, so to speak? Just let me know if it's been useful to you. Good. Simon, June, Susan. Okay, good stuff. Have I sent anyone to sleep yet? That's a really important question. Have I lost anybody yet? Okay, good. Right. Yes, it's coming through. Fantastic stuff. Okay. So part 2 is all around process. Excuse me. How to connect your LinkedIn activity with sales opportunity. So my question to you right now, right? What journey do you currently take your prospects on? Right? Do you just go straight and try and get into a sales conversation? Do you just post content and just hope that someone comes to you eventually? Do you do none of it? What do you currently do to help somebody who doesn't know who you are right now move to a point where they need to buy from you? What is that journey? That's what we're going to be going through in this section, because here's the problem that we've realized speaking to all the different businesses that we have over the last 18 months. Number 1 is that there are 3 activities that people do on LinkedIn that they're taught by everybody else that, I guess, I don't want to really badmouth anyone, by the way, but it drives me absolutely insane. I watch numerous videos online, right, of what people. Gary Vaynerchuk is one person, right, that I love him. He got me into this whole industry whatsoever. But the advice that he gives just drives me insane, because it's this do more attitude. Like, if you just do more, you'll get better results. And the problem is with that, if what you're doing is terrible, unfortunately, doing more of the terrible thing isn't going to get you the results. And the problem is the majority of people that use social, this is where the bluntness is going to come in, right? The majority of people that use social have no idea what they're doing. And so they put content out there, and what happens is people just scroll right past it. They don't care about it. They send connection requests out there, and people just ignore them, because why on earth would they connect with you? Why should I connect with you over anyone else? The only reason I'm going to connect to you is so I can sell something to you, really, in the grand scheme of things. So why? People send messages that they wouldn't even respond to themselves. So doing more is not the answer. And this is the problem. People give this advice out. Prospect, go and comment on some randomer's post and then just put some content out there. The problem is, if your content is boring, and I hope the person is actually on this training today, right? And I'm not being to be horrible. I'm meaning it to help the person. But we run a content competition all the time. Whenever we speak, we always run them. And one of the things that we always get people to do is take a selfie and just share what they've done online. And the person, rather than sharing a selfie, has held up a photo of a biscuit and taken a photo of the biscuit and put that out there. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, why have you done that? Like, in what world is that actually going to provide any benefit to you whatsoever? Unless you're selling the biscuit, or you've got some sort of like affiliate partnership with the biscuit company. I'm sitting here and I'm like, why on earth would we do this? But what I need to realize, and what I have realized over time, is sometimes the obvious isn't obvious. And I'm going to give you some ideas today of how you can create your content to get out there. But the thing is, if you just prospect, if you just engage and you just post, unfortunately, this is where your strategy is based on luck and is based on hope. And you end up wasting lots and lots of time, and you end up banging your head against a brick wall thinking that social doesn't work. And I'll be honest with this whole thing, because of the amount of time wasting that goes onto these platforms, and I'm guilty of it as well, to be fair. I'll sit there on TikTok for an hour wasting my time. I look at the stuff, and I don't really like social. I'm not a fan of social media. I don't love using it whatsoever. I use it because it's a way for us to generate business. It's what drives our company forward. And so what I want to do is use it, quite frankly, abuse it, and then get off it. And this is the mentality that we're driving into all of our customers. It's not about spending hours on these platforms because you've got businesses to run. It's about spending the minimum amount of time that you need to be able to hit the targets you're setting yourself. And for me, all I'm using it for is a tool to generate the attention. That's why I'm not too bothered about the platforms. LinkedIn is just a platform of the day. I don't care about this. All I want to do is generate the attention, drive it to the front end of the process that I'm going to give to you in a second, and then solve problems for clients. Over and over and over again. I'd rather spend an hour in front of our academy group answering questions, providing all the information that I know that helps me go forward, so they can then go and do the same rather than spend an hour on TikTok looking at some random dance. And this is the thing with everything. This is why I run these workshops, right? And I get a little bit high-act and a little bit ramped up with it. But this is the first insight into a typical LinkedIn user's behavior. Now, it's not a problem if this is the way that you do things. I'm here to help you understand what to do to make it better. But the typical person will build their network, so send some connection requests that feels like it takes ages, like they're customizing a message and sending it across, they're doing the filtering and they're going through it. Then they'll be told that they should post once a day, but once a day is a bit too much. They don't have the time to do it. So they'll post on a Monday, they'll post on a Tuesday. Wednesday's quite busy, so we don't do Wednesdays. Then it's a Thursday, and then on a Sunday, we'll put a little personal post up. And then we may send some sales messages out saying, the majority of people that I speak to experience this problem, and this is how I solve it. If you want to have a conversation, here's a link to book a call. Tends to be the typical process. And what happens is if you're not sending the messages, you're relying on the content to drive people to a profile. And here's the biggest bugbear that I have in my mind is that the profiles have book a call with me, or drop me an email, or DM me if you want to have a conversation. And the problem is that people don't naturally have that behavior on this platform anymore. By having that approach, you're relying on the algorithm to give the attention. Now, relying on an algorithm is not taking control. And what we need to do with all of our marketing process is take complete control over what we're doing. I'm going to share with you my process in a second, which enables me to generate 25 new clients every single month if I hit my numbers at the front end. I have complete control over whether that happens or not. And that's what enables us to get the consistent results, no matter what month it is. Whether it's August, December, January, I can hit our target every single month if I hit my numbers. The biggest thing that we all need to realize, and this will probably hit home to a couple of you right now, and you'll sit there and you kind of stuck your head and go, oh my God, what are we doing? People aren't on social to purchase anything. It's not Amazon. We go to Amazon with buying intent. We go there to window shop and then potentially buy something. We don't go on social to do that. We go on social typically either for our own selfish reasons to sell something, right? Be honest here, right? Let me know which one of these you are, whether it's to sell something to generate some business or because we're bored. Out of number one and number two, selfish reasons to sell something. Number two, it's because you're bored. Which one are you on there for, right? Just let me know. Just fire into the chat box, one or two. Is it because you're selfish and you want some business, or is it two because you're bored? Majority of people coming through with both, to be fair. That's good, right? Now, again, honesty is important here. When we all realize this, we can start to make a change, because this is the thing. When you try and sell on these platforms, this wasn't meant to rhyme, by the way, but when you sell, you instantly start to repel. We've all received the messages. Hey, do you want to have a conversation with me? I've got a lead generation service. It's going to change your life. Absolute nonsense. It doesn't work. Stop doing it if you're doing it. Sustainability and consistency comes from a campaign-led approach. And this is where marketing really takes over here. This is where the strategy really works. From our research, there are three main campaign types. I'm going to give you the numbers in a second, so please bear with me. There are three main campaign types that work. I'm not going to talk to you about them all. I'm going to talk to you about one of them in particular. A value add is basically where you will provide some form of lead magnet or some form of demo or some sort of free call to be able to add some value to someone, right? That's where you provide something for free to then be able to maybe get an email address to be able to move forward to the next stage in the sales process. Event, I'm going to talk to you about in more detail in a second. That's the process you're a part of now. And then number three, when my signal comes back, there we go, we're back now. Number three is then conversation. So event, I'm going to talk to you about in a second. Number three is conversation. Just let me know if I'm back in the chat, by the way. Give me a yes if you can hear me again. Apologies if I glitched. And number three is a conversation campaign, which I'll cover right at the end for you. But what we're going to cover is the event process in detail. And what we need to have in our minds right now is that LinkedIn is no longer an end-to-end sales solution like it used to be. Okay, there was a time where if you prospected, you engaged and you post and you just did those things, it would work. Now it's changed. There's more users, there's more content, there's more messaging going on than ever before. So the mindset needs to shift. What we need to do is use LinkedIn as a traffic source and then let the process do the work. From there, we just track the numbers behind our activity. You will all build your own process. You need to do it. It is so, so vital to all of this. And then we don't need to change everything every time. We just look at the numbers, identify what's doing well and what isn't, and then we tweak and change to be able to get a much better result. And where the percentages, the conversion percentages drop, which I'm going to talk you through in a second, we can change, we can adapt, and we can recover. Example of this is in July. I was away for 2 weeks in July, and because of it, we had our worst month for sales ever. Even from when I first started the company, right, when I had an Instagram agency, it's the worst month we ever had. And it's because we didn't hit the numbers. So all we did was we looked at where the drop was, and actually it was in the invite activity. And because we weren't doing enough invite activity, because it was only a 2-week period rather than a whole month that we were doing it, the numbers dropped from 50% of conversion through to 20%. That 30% was the difference maker between us having an average month and a crap month. We just changed it. We shifted up the activity and we hit the numbers. Would it be helpful to be able to see that process end to end so you can screenshot it and you can take it away? Is it something that would be useful? I'm hoping it is. Otherwise, we're gonna breeze through this quite quickly. Very useful, good stuff. Right, there it is. And we're done. How many, Jake? And we'll go back. We're fine. So this is the process end to end. You can take a picture of it. You can have it. I share this everywhere online. It's really important. Now, I'm going to talk you through the numbers of this and how it works. You are currently a part of this process, okay? This is really simple. It's got nothing to hide. It's very obvious. Now, some of you will have come from the LinkedIn event invite. Some of you have already said that a number of you have come from that part of it. I know that if I can get 1,000 people to say yes throughout a month to a LinkedIn event, now I don't have that many followers, right? I have 10,000, I think it's like 12,000, whatever it is. Now that's been growing month on month on month on month. We get around about 1,000 to 1,500 new connections every single month. But if I can get 1,000 people to a LinkedIn event, I know that 50% of those, 50% is the target, 50% will then register for Zoom, okay? Once they register for Zoom, we get the email address and we can then market to them in future. So out of that 1,000 LinkedIn event invites, the people that say yes to the LinkedIn event, we can get 500 through to the webinar itself. Now, from registration to the people showing up, right, that we normally have a 50% show up rate. So again, if I can get 500 people to register for Zoom, it means that I'll get 250 people showing up to this whole workshop throughout the month. Now, the reality is that from the people that show up, only 10% of people, maybe 10 to 20% is where we fluctuate, but the target's 10% minimum. 10% are ready to buy from you at that period of time once they've gone through the workshop structure that we apply. So it means that if we get 250 people showing up and we hit that number and we hit the 10% conversion, we get 25 new clients every single month without fail. And when you start to know these numbers for your business, that is industry standard. That's not something that we've made up. That is industry standard and the targets that apply. You run this process and you run it in the right way, you will get those results coming through. 10% conversion end to end from LinkedIn event invite all the way through. And I'm not even spoken to you about the email list yet and the part that plays. But with my LinkedIn message that you can see here, what I'm looking to do is drive people to a lead magnet that gets people to my email list, or to a YouTube video, which then gives them the lead magnet that gets them to the webinar. This process is so simple. It's the most basic process that you will see, but if you can start to implement it, that's where you'll start to see the results. And this is just a perfect example of this process in play, right? And if you're not getting the conversion numbers anyway, that's literally why we're here. Getting the delivery right, getting the messaging right, getting the offer right, getting the end-to-end promotional material right. All of that stuff is stuff that makes a difference to your overall percentages all the way through. You need to make sure that you understand that. So Jeremy, that's exactly why we're here, okay? Now, this is a message that I send whenever I connect with someone. You can take these, use them, right? If you want to use them, I need to change them now. They're a bit old, but this is what worked for a number of months. I'm on a mission to connect with people. I'm currently not sending that first message. I'm literally just sending a connection request, to be fair. What I then do is when my connection request is accepted, I then send this message, which you can see there's a YouTube link there. Okay, the YouTube video then basically takes people to a video, which is how to create great content. And below that, there is a link to be able to get the content guide. Now, the amazing thing here is if you look at the dates, February the 2nd, it was when we got the connection request through. February the 6th is when I sent my message and I was completely ignored. Okay. Now, about a month later, it was around 34 days later, I got a message through. Now, I don't know if Caroline watched the YouTube video. I can only assume that she did, or maybe she's just seen my content. But you can see here, can you tell me a little bit more about the Social Selling Academy you advertise in your profile? I'm trying to work out if it's right for me or not. And though while your website is down or under construction, it might be the best port of call. Here's a little thing for you. We've not had a website since our business actually started. It's been under construction for 3 years. Websites, unless we have clear messaging and understand exactly what it is that we do with the right process in place, in my opinion, are just a way for us to be able to procrastinate for lead generation. All you need is a landing page. That's all you need. Basic landing page that showcases what it is that you do. So all we had here, it drove the message in. Hi, Caroline, just saw your message. What's the best way to get in contact with you? Email or phone? We jumped onto a phone call. I then diverted her back to the workshop because I didn't want to spend my time just going through and talking all about it. I said, look, we're not here to sell you anything. It's great to talk to you. You can see how we're going to help. Here's the workshop. Go give it a watch. Bang. Hi, Chris. Love the workshop. Signed up. Simple as that. The process is what allowed that to work. The workshop is a big conversion asset for us. It enables us to be able to communicate a message so people get to see that we know what we're talking about. That's the importance of it. So some top tips for process. Number one, think about what you can offer for free. Your lead magnets are important. We give away a 100 content ideas guide, right? If you want the content guide, just put content guide in the chat and I'll get one of the team to send it to you afterwards. But it's 100 content ideas and it's framed in a way, I'm hoping you can see that it's like, oh my God, that sounds like really valuable. Like I want it. You'd happily exchange an email address for that content guide, right? Look at the content guide. You can't see them. The content guides coming through, about 20 of them come through. That is a sign of a good lead magnet. You need to get a lead magnet in place that has that desire. If you're not getting any downloads, the lead magnet's not good enough. So we need to think of something we can give away for free. Second is we need to identify a campaign objective that's going to work for you. So maybe you should be running workshops right now. If you think a workshop like this is something that you can run, put workshop in the chat so we can actually get in contact. And when we do our call, we can speak about them. Some of you might want to go to a demo of a piece of software. Right, you might have a bit of software you might to test. Some people might want to go to a free strategy call straight away. Some people might just want to have a conversation and then let their content do the talking. I don't know what it is, right? But your campaign objective is what we need to confirm and identify because that's where you can start to really build in a marketing strategy that's going to give you the leads that you're looking for. The third tip is that remember that LinkedIn isn't a place to sell. It's a place for you to be able to start off a relationship, so to speak, and a place where you can lift people off of the platform to a place where you get the chance to convert. Number 4 is all about email list building. I want to talk to you about it at the end as well. I'm going to go more details into email lists, but what you don't want to do is be solely reliant on your content. You want to get control back over that. And that last point there, people are on these platforms for their own selfish reasons because they're bored. So what you need to do is understand that and put a process in place that enables you to lift them off of the platform to a point where people are in a buying mindset. Really, really critical. Does that make sense? As part 2, does that kind of open your eyes to like the process part? Does anyone now think process is a little bit more sexier than what they first thought it might have been? And for me, it's what enables our business to grow. It's how I know exactly how many sales we're going to make every single month. It's what enables us to be able to recruit and drive us forward. And I'm hoping that makes sense. Just let me know if it does. Good stuff, making sense. Perfect. Okay, part 3, promotion. Let's get through this. Here's how we can generate some consistent and sustainable traffic. This is the LinkedIn part. Now, there are some new updates to this of what you all need to know. So some of you may listen to one of my workshops before. This stuff is actually relatively new to what's working right now. The first thing is the basics, but please, all of this stuff is important, but part 1 and part 2 is the most important part. Part 3, this section here is great, but unless you have part 1 and part 2 in place, you're going to be leaving opportunity on the table. So network building. This is where you take the time to be able to build and connect with your ideal clients. Okay. So if you're network building right now, it's important to understand that you should be really hitting your limits every single week. And you cannot take the ability that you have to do this for granted. Me, every morning, I still do this on my own account. It takes me 5 to 10 minutes whilst I'm having my coffee in the morning. All I do is I go out there and I send my 25 to 30, depending on how quickly I can do it, 25 to 30 connection requests out. Simple. Just do it to the right people. You don't have to overthink it. Do they look like an ideal client? Bang, connect and go through. Like I said, this time last year, 5,500 connections. By just doing this, creating the right content with a bit of focus, you can build an audience of 12,000 or 7,000 additional connections very, very quickly. Now, if people aren't accepting your connection requests, then we need to look at your profile. And we teach profiles in a lot of detail because they are actually quite scientific to the way that you need to build them so you can get the right messaging behind them. But the first thing, if your profile doesn't seem to be optimized, just ask yourself why. What could be going wrong? What could be something that you can change to make it better? Because what you should be looking for is a minimum of a 50% acceptance rate. That's all you're looking for. So for every one connection that you send, you should be looking for half a connection accepted. So if you send two connection requests, you want one of them to accept. They're the numbers that you should be hitting. Not much else to really say upon network building. And the thing that I want to focus on is content, because this is the part that so many people overthink. Let me know if you overthink content, right? Let me know if you spend too much time worrying about what to post. Now, this is something that is very common. It's something that so many people do, and I get it. I used to do it as well. And what happens is you get into this mindset where you just end up posting information that people aren't interested in, and you forget about the most important rule, or maybe you don't know about the most important rule. You don't need to be telling people what it is that you're doing, right? If you tell people, they kind of turn away and they're not interested in it. What you need to be doing is just showing people what it is that you do. So again, top tip, whenever you do something, I can't take my photo today, so I'm hoping someone can take one of the screen for me. Normally, I take a selfie on one of those and then I'll share what I've done. So I'll share that I've delivered this workshop, right? Now, what I do is I share my results, I share my challenges. In fact, I've just recorded a YouTube video. I document my journey. I do little videos every single week where I just talk about what's gone right, what's gone wrong, and where I could improve. People find this stuff interesting. They get to see that we're a real agency helping real people. They get to see the results that we're getting. That's all building credibility. And again, it doesn't matter if you're a window cleaning business, a consultancy or an agency, or a coach or a consultant. It doesn't matter what you do. You can just share what your business does and visually show it. You're going to start standing out and grabbing the attention. And inbound leads will come to you when you can make people sit back and go, oh my God, I need to work with this person. Look how great they are and what they do. And this is just an example. You can screenshot this, right? It's an example of how Sam did it a couple of months ago. She just put a post out and basically said, look, this is what you need to succeed with digital marketing. And she shared the process that I shared with you beforehand. She just shared the end-to-end process of it. And what happened is within about 2 hours, so you can see when we took the screenshot of her post there, it says 2 hours at the top there. And you can see there at 2:53, hey, Sam, just seen your post about social selling pipelines. Could you send me some details of one of P44's events? That person then went to sign up after booking in a call, after coming to a workshop like this. This is how simple this stuff is. This is where we start to get these results, where it's like when you can increase the right visibility, you can get out there creating the right content. Again, this person managed to land a contract, and you can see at the bottom there, he said, well, I put amazing result. That's great. 2 masterclasses, 3.5 grand. She put, they came to me. Inbound leads come when you start putting out the right content, and they'll come consistently when you deliver it. And this is all I've done, right? This is all I've done. Taken photos across my journey, videos across my journey, and started to document the wins and also the challenges and the things that we found difficult. This is all Sam's done, right? This is about putting out the right content with the right copy, getting the right attention. Just let me know, by the way, if you were to see those photos, does Sam look like somebody that's worth listening to? Like just from the photos, you don't even need to see the words. Is Sam currently showing herself as credible? Just let me know in the chat, because this is the sort of stuff that when you realize it, you can look back and you can go, okay, this is the sort of stuff that I can be creating. And it's the stuff that people just don't seem to do. Joe, I know you're on here today. This is exactly what Joe's done in the same way. just showcased who she is and what she does and how she helps people. And if you're not in a position where you've got clients right now, this is where I decided at the beginning to help people for free, just to get the evidence that I could help someone. The confidence that I got in myself when I knew I could deliver a result, which is what comes from going through this process, right? The confidence in your own ability to deliver the result. When you can do that time and time again, that's where people start to listen to you. And when you understand also how the algorithm works, which is all based on dwell time, some of you may have heard of dwell time before, some of you might have not. But when you understand how the algorithm works, that's where you can start to capitalize. Okay, so some content stuff is really important, but dwell time is the bit that makes the difference for you. So a little bit of a change. Dwell time, quite simply, is how long somebody spends watching your piece of content. Okay, the longer they spend on your content, the further it will travel. If you think about these social media platforms, all they want is people on their platform for the maximum amount of time so they can position and put ads in front of them. Now, some of you may or may not know this, but you know that see more button on the newsfeed that you see? When somebody clicks it, it gets an algorithm boost. I haven't made that up. That is what LinkedIn confirmed. See more button, when someone clicks it, it means that they're interested in the post. Every click on an arrow, maybe whether it's a carousel post, or maybe it's to click onto a photo, or maybe it's to click play on a video, every click on your post increases the likelihood of your content being seen. This is why people use long captions. Okay. Now, if you don't like writing, long captions aren't the way for you. Go to long form video or for a longer version of a video. But longer text posts, if you can write them in the right way, that's where you can boost your dwell time. And what you need to do is just make sure that what you're doing is engaging. So use emotion, tell stories, use scenarios, make people really focus in on what you're saying. And the longer that you keep them there, the more algorithm benefit you're going to get. And what I want to finish on with the content piece here is just the importance of positioning. Now, this is absolutely insane because this is where most people go wrong with their content. Now, the first little trick, you can write this down, not trick, I guess tactic, is to write down all the questions that your ideal target market are asking right now. What do they need to know? If you don't know what this is, you can go to a website called answerthepublic.com, or you can go to Reddit, Answer the Public, or Reddit, or even Quora. If you type in your subject, it will give you a list of all the questions that your target market are asking right now. Go onto them, write them down, and then start creating it's a little tactic for you here, content strategy. You can write down, this is what we've done for my brand and all of our clients in the same way. Write down all of them on a bit of paper, and then just create little 1-minute videos or 1-minute posts, just answering those questions. What you're doing is positioning yourself. That's the first part of this. Write down all the questions. Number 2 then is then sharing the content that people are going to relate to. So the story that I'm going to share here is from a lady called Zoe. Now, Zoe, this is only recent, this was last week, put out a photo of a scenario that she was going through. Karen, I'll repeat them for you in a second, not a problem. Now, Zoe put out this post here, so you can see. Again, it was a post relating to the support dog work that she does. She's looked after a puppy for 18 months. She has a dog-based property business. So she has a big mission and a big dream to create basically specialist Airbnbs and serviced accommodation that's focused on the dog having a great holiday. That's her idea. That's what she wants to do. And she's been struggling to raise investment for it. Now, again, when you get the content right, this is where this stuff starts to play, because this post here, you can see the results that it got. Zoe's got, I think, around 900 followers on LinkedIn. Tiny account. 133,000 people reach, right? That visibility is insane, right? Now, again, you can see if I go back, I've had 2 messages asking about investment opportunity, a few asking for how the charity can help their child, and lots of new corrections, so many messages of the support. It's crazy. Mind blown. This is the power of getting the right message. And this is where so many people go wrong. When you get it right, they're the messages that you can expect. People to see the piece of content, go to the profile. And if you go to Zoe's profile, you'll see the video, which is her talking about how she's raising investment. I have considerable experience with dogs and considering investment opportunities. Her post had nothing to do about raising money or property. It was about something that was related to what she did. And because it was emotionally connecting, people reacted to it. So what you need to realize here is, how do you create your link? How do you create your version of this? Because when you do, that's where everything clicks. And this is where you start to win. This is what we will teach people to do over and over and over again. It's this stuff that matters. When you know how this algorithm works, you can start to position yourself in the right way. And my biggest tip to you all is get yourself out there and demonstrate how you're making a difference. Zoe, in that post there, just demonstrated how she's making a difference to that dog's life, how she's making a difference to Peggy's life, and what she's done for that dog. That dog now goes on, is going to help a child, right? This is how this stuff works. It's about understanding how to relate, collect your content as you go. The links were answerthepublic.com, answerthepublic.com, Reddit, Redditt, and Quora, Quora. Now, to move through, because we're running out of time, is prospecting. Now, prospecting I spoke about earlier. It's not about making a sale after 3 messages. It's about just starting a conversation that moves someone to the next phase in your process. Think about your overall campaigns. What is the end point? What is the conversion piece of content that you can create that's going to help people understand when they want to buy from you? It could be a workshop, it could be a demo, it could be a strategy call, whatever it is. For us, before you even get the chance to buy anything, we give you 4 huge pieces of value. You have the free content on YouTube, you have the content guide, you have this workshop, and then you have an actual strategy call with me. That's how this stuff works. And this is how we build the know, like, and trust concept that everyone talks about in marketing. All I'm looking to help you do is get more clients on these platforms. That is it. And sometimes I know it's difficult to see what you need to be doing. And this is where I love what we do, because we get the chance to work with you and review all of your campaigns to understand what it is that you're doing. And even if it's like stuff like workshops like this, like we spend lots of time watching people's workshops and the way that they deliver them, the whole end-to-end process. And Fred, I spoke about at the beginning, and this is what we've done for him. We also spend time looking at lead magnets. And you can see here, Lynn has created a lead magnet that we've gone on to review and give her feedback on. We're able to say whether it's going to work or not, or whether it's going to fail. Again, we've been there and done it in so many industries now. We know how to position these things. And what we do is we lay out the roadmaps, and you can't see the full feedback there, but we'll give you like the things that you need to put in place, whether it's live on a Q&A session with me or in feedback through our community. We'll review your progress and tell you what you need to change to get it working. This is the important part of what we do. And this is why people need to work. This is where the time and the attention needs to go. And then number 4 is email. Is one of the most underestimated parts in a social media marketing process, right? 70% of our hot leads come from our email list. So I ask you right now, do you currently have an email list? Just put yes or no in the chat. Our email list is something that we build every single day. My content guide, the social selling guide, Sam's books, they build our list every single day. And all we do is send 1 weekly email. Let me know, by the way, if you've attended this workshop via the fact that you received an email from us. Just put email in the chat if you came here because you received an email. That 1 weekly email just have enough value in there so people stay on the list. We sent 1 to this workshop and it's generated over 200 people coming along to it. This is the value. What we then do is we send 1 to 2 promotions a week, either driving people to a strategy call or to a workshop. And what happens is business is then generated. And just over the last 10 days, our email list has generated over 4 academy members and 1 new agency client. Your email list, if you don't have one, you need to understand how to build it and how to use it. When you do it, you can expect the results like Darren's got. Go and look Darren Hill up online. What an incredible business he has. And he runs a workshop and event campaign as well. His offer is so strong, it's almost like you're an idiot if you don't buy it. It is that good and that strong if you're interested in what he does. And what happens is when you have a workshop process that's connected end to end, you know the numbers you need to hit. Like we started with Darren 2 years ago and literally he has not looked back. He's built a 7-figure business off the back of a consulting company just by running workshops over and over again. They're all evergreen. They're all automated. He just drives the traffic to the front end. This stuff is so simple. You have no idea. It is just putting it in place and putting it in and not focusing on anything else other than putting in a conversion process for you, is what so many businesses miss out on. So some top tips before we finish up on promotion is never stop connecting, build your audience every day. Don't just post content for content's sake. Make sure you stay consistent, but consistently doing the right thing. Don't just carry on doing the same thing that you've always done. You won't get better results from it. If you're not seeing results now, there's something missing. And this is where we need to spend the time. We need to craft that message. We need to build the process and then focus in on moving people off of LinkedIn to an email list where you can then promote. That's where your numbers come from. Because to start generating a consistent flow of leads into your business, you don't need to be posting hundreds of pieces of content. You don't need to worry about the algorithm because we will give you that information. And you don't need to spend hours. This is the thing that drives me nuts. Like commenting on random people's posts. Please stop doing it. It is a total and utter waste of time unless it's part of a strategy that's connected. All you really need is a product that solves a problem, packaged in a way that people understand and relate. And then you need the process in place that just nurtures people to the point where you're spending your time talking to people that want to talk to you. And when you've got that, you just need that promotional plan to give you the traffic. The stuff that I've spoken to you about there is just one part of 15 different ways that you can generate traffic. You implement one at a time. People just love trying to do all of these things at once and they end up getting nowhere from it. We are not about going to throw you into the deep end and tell you to build 15 things at once. Build one process that converts. We do not move on to the next process until it converts. When you're going through this, it's about applying your passion and focus to the stuff that, do you know what, might be a bit boring for you right now. But when you've done it, you will take a breath and have a huge amount of relief because it will give you the results that you're looking for. And so I hope it's been valuable for you. I am going to talk to you about the Social Selling Academy in a second with the Q&A at the end. We've got over 30 questions to go through at the end. So I'm going to spend some extra time on that. Now, you can put your wallets and purses away because you can't buy this thing. I'm not selling it to you. You can book your call in with me to see if it's going to work for you. But has that been helpful for you? Just let me know in the chat if that's been helpful and you'd like to hear a little bit more about the Academy and how it works. Been helpful. Good stuff. June, Graham, good stuff. Great to hear that it's been good. Amazing. Okay. So like I said, it's application only. You're going to be able to book your call, whether it's today, tomorrow, Saturday, Monday, whatever. But together, what we've basically built, me, Sam, and Nick, and our team have put together basically roadmaps for you to follow. Just literally, it's not just like, here's a load of stuff, go and do it. It's just step by step. Just do the things that we tell you to do. And inside it, what we're going to do is just take you through that process on the right-hand side there and how it all works. So we're going to help you create a product offering that stands out. We're going to review what it is that you sell and help you frame it in a way that it stands out to your ideal clients. I've done this for hundreds and hundreds of businesses now, and I'm able to put myself in their shoes to understand why they would buy it. You only have to ask me on the strategy call how that works, and I'll give you an example so you can see the power of what we do. What we'll then do is pick a campaign that's best for your digital marketing strategy, and I'm just going to show you step by step through the training how you do it. Really easy. From there, once you've got the process built, we're then going to show you how you generate the traffic, whether it's YouTube, LinkedIn. We're going to show you how to put the traffic into place so you can start generating the results to hit the objectives. Really easy. And then the last point is we're going to show you how you then nurture. So the content that you need to create, the emails you need to send, the scripts, the workshop structures, the messaging that you need to do to get people to the point where they want to buy from you. The same process that you're going through by this current point. It's the same process that Joe's gone through. Joe's video is like LinkedIn famous. Go and look at her profile. It's on there. Working with her has been like the most eye-opening experience for me, to be fair, just to see how this stuff really works. Like, she was one of my first ever clients, and the results that she has generated have been mind-blowing. Like, you're only going to just go and look at her profile. I don't even need to read that for you. Just go and look at it. It is insane, the transition that she's gone through with this stuff. And it's not just Joe. There are hundreds. We've got over 200 people in our academy now. And go look at my LinkedIn profile, go look at Sam's LinkedIn profile. The testimonials and the case studies are there. But this thing isn't about building a huge audience. I need to really reiterate that. Zoe has 900 followers, right? It's not a huge amount of people. Our thing is about revenue generation, right? It's about generating money. So you can see clients coming through, workshop registrations coming through, emails being collected. It's about building a process that generates the revenue. So if you're looking to build an audience of 1 million people, we are not your people. If you're looking to create a sustainable process that's just easily repeatable to generate money, then this is the thing that's for you. Okay. I'm not going to read all of these out, but you can see like it's endless in terms of how this stuff works. We used to teach this in person, and we're going to be next year bringing back some masterclasses. Sam's running some online at the moment on LinkedIn, but we're going to start bringing back some events next year, which I'm really looking forward to. But we used to teach this stuff over 3 days. Our academy now is how we do it. So it's via the Social Selling Academy. Everything's broken down. You can see the modules at the bottom there, module 1, module 2. You can see the events and the recordings in the top right-hand corner. It is our portal. It's so easy to use. And we've got something really exciting coming in January that you will get access to if you are able to get accepted into this program now. So I can't talk too much about it, but you will be seeing inside of the academy how it's changing and what we're doing from a software perspective. I probably shouldn't have said that either, but I've said it now anyway, from a software perspective to be able to make this even easier for you to implement. So inside your academy package, what is included is 12 months access to our training program and our 30 to 60 day roadmaps. So to make you aware, it's 12 months that you work with us, okay? You're going to get your handheld as you build out your digital marketing strategy. Direct guidance. So we're not going to keep asking you, what do you think and what do you do? It's direct guidance around it. We're going to tell you what you need to put in there. We're going to tell you what works best, where you can improve, why it's not working. We run weekly calls every Monday where the group gets together and it's like an open mastermind type session. You bring your questions, you bring your issues, you bring your content, you bring anything, and we'll go through it. It's with me live every single week, apart from bank holidays. And you also get access to all of our templates. So you get this presentation deck templated. You get all of our emails that we send. You get our best performing content. You get all of the campaign templates to be able to work through. And you get access to me and the team to be able to give you practical feedback on your activity. And then the most fun part is that every 2 weeks we run challenges. We've got a list building challenge on at the moment. The person that gets the most email addresses in a week wins 2 hours with me, one-to-one. We go through it. I don't do one-to-one stuff anymore. It's not anything that we offer out, but inside of the academy, you get the opportunity to win it and you get my head on your business. They're just little things that you can win. You get all of that for just 150 quid a month. So we've literally made it accessible for every business out there right now, because we know there are people out there charging thousands and thousands of pounds for this information, but don't offer you the support that we do. Because of what we're looking to do as a whole company, because we have an agency, because we have corporate consultancy, we've made this available for absolutely everyone. So you can help us make the noise that we need to start making a difference, a big difference in this market. That is why we're doing it. Yes, it's a great product. We absolutely love it, but it supports our overarching mission that we're looking to achieve. And this is here if you're looking to work. If you're wanting to work and put this simple stuff into place, you've got our backing and we'll help you do it. The support in here is the thing that's the most underestimated piece of work that I think anyone can ever look at. So we have a 200-person strong community, all at different stages. We share ideas, we share education, we share tips every single day. And whether it's profiles, messages, campaigns, landing pages, lead magnets, content, if you send it in, you'll get feedback from us as a group, from us as people. You bring it to the Q&As, we'll talk about it. And we're doing it because in this market, you will have experienced this at some point. There are people out there selling the dream and not delivering it. I had it with my own marketing agency experience when I was looking for one. People promise you the world and don't deliver on it. This stuff, you come to us, we will deliver on what we promise. And this stuff is not difficult. You will see from our processes, they are not complicated. It is just getting your message right, your products right, your process right, and then your promotional activity right to get the right people through. The results are out there on LinkedIn. They're public. Go and look at them, right? They're there for you to go and look at, do all the evaluation and analysis on us that you need. Again, it's like endless in terms of the positive. And we love this product because of the amount of people we're able to help. Now, we're doing strategy calls. I said to you, we're going to offer them up. Now's the time for you to be able to book yours. These will go quickly. There's only 15 of them. There's still over 100 of you on here. All you need to do in the bottom right-hand corner, the slots are there on Calendly. pipeline44.com/apply. Okay, that's all you need to do is go to pipeline44.com/apply, fill out the form. There's a few questions that I need to be able to deliver that call right away. You can book them as immediately as after this. You can book them tomorrow. I'm doing a few on Saturday morning, a few on Monday, a few on I've opened them up so I can do as many as I possibly can. That 15 will disappear. Okay, there's 15 with me, 15 with Nick that you can book in, 30 available times to be able to go through it. That's what it's going to be. I hope it's been helpful. I've got nothing else to really say to you apart from the Q&A section at the end. But all you need to do is go through to that link, pipeline44.com/apply. I'll put it in the chat in a second for you, and apply for your spot. Book your time in. I can't do anything other than those times because I go away the week after. So I'm doing these before I go away for my little mini break. And again, it's all there for you to be able to do. So now is the time for some questions. Now, what I'm going to do is just put the link in there because you're all asking. Okay, that's fine. https www. Thank you all so much for attending. Apply. There you go. That's there for you as well. I'm going to stop sharing. Can you all just see me now? Can you just see me? Am I here? I don't know. Yes, we can. Good stuff. Fantastic. Okay. So then what we're going to do is go through these questions. If you've got any questions, put it in the Q&A. Yes, it's 150 quid a month plus the VAT for 12 months. Yes, that question's answered. Right, answer live, that's done. Online course creator, that's done. That's fine. I'm going to file some of these away. I'm an SDR working in the cybersecurity, looking to optimize a LinkedIn connection to generate more leads, just looking at how to do it. Neheka, I'm hoping that has answered your question, this whole presentation anyway. We sell mindset and scorecard software, looking to master Sales Nav to increase revenue. So Sales Navigator is something that is in-depth covered in the academy. If I try and talk about Sales Nav, I'll be here all day. We run specific workshops on Sales Nav. It's not run by me, it's run by my business partner, Sam, but she does specific ones on that as well. So if you need any more information, but it is in the academy as well. It's the full training in there. Afternoon, I work for SDG Access Limited, who supply and install door gates and barriers. I'm looking to try and find out how to generate more leads. Good, Ryan, I'm hoping that's helped you. I know it's been very much obviously B2B focused, and I'm hoping that still gives you ideas of what content to put out and how you can go about generating some business as well. Susan, I do LinkedIn Lives. My VA manually invites people to come on. How are you able to get the emails? Is there a feature? So LinkedIn Lives, if you want emails, I would stop doing. I would move people to a Zoom format like this, where you then have to get the email address to be able to attend. So LinkedIn Lives, they're great, but actually they limit your potential reach. If you do a LinkedIn event with a Zoom link and invite, you'll get a much better turnout, and you'll also get the email address as well. Okay. Now, what lead generation software do you recommend? I would need something to collect the information. We have, I nearly said, we have something coming in January that might help that, but also there's others out there like MailChimp. There's stuff out there like ActiveCampaign, Infusionsoft, MailerLite. There's loads out there that you can use to be able to collect emails. Matt, I've been building LinkedIn connections very effectively with a 53% conversion rate. However, I want to be able to follow up email with a no, like, and trust campaign. How do I take connection from LinkedIn to email direct the campaign? Matt, I'm pretty sure you're in the academy. If you look at the campaign training in the academy, it takes you through. It's the new videos that are in there. It takes you through end to end how to do that whilst going through it. Or you're going to need the landing page. You're going to need a lead magnet. You're going to need to be able to follow that process. But drop a message in Slack if you're struggling with that. When I try and get connections for free, LinkedIn only lets me do about 3 and then says I have to pay for Sales Nav. So Sarah, we have a free link to be able to trial it. You will have search limits in place if you don't have Sales Nav. I've just got rid of my premium version. I'm not struggling with the search filters anymore, but premium is worth it. Sales Nav is worth it when you learn how to use it in the right way. But if you book a call in, we'll discuss how you can do that as well. Right, there's lots of people just chatting in it. Will there be slides on this or recording? Yes, Julian, there will be a recording. Slides, unfortunately, not. I comment on there, then connect and then ask a question. Kevin, that's fine. It's not a problem. They're just more effective ways to be able to do it. I do lives instead of hosting on Zoom. Is there a form you can complete to get the emails? Not on LinkedIn Live, Susan. No, I think I mentioned that. Was it you asked before? It might have been. I can't remember. Content guide. Cool. No worries. We'll get those out to you. That's fine. Email. Great. Such an informative session. Great. Thank you. Booked your call in. Great. Fantastic. 27,000 followers. I'm nervous about connecting with 25 to 30 people a day. I'll reach a 30,000 soon. What's your advice? Where with yours, there's lots of opportunity if you have the right campaign in place. So it's less about building an audience, more about converting the audience you've already got, Graham. So hopefully the conversion part's helped you with that. And then it's about becoming more and more as a person worth following rather than connecting with, which will come from your content. Thanks, Chris. I'm running webinars, creating the event via LinkedIn using Zoom. How do I capture the email address to follow up and remind? People tend to select attend, but don't get the email address. So when you set up Zoom, you want the webinar functionality on Zoom, which then you tick the box that basically says that they need to register to be able to attend. Once they've then registered, you then export the CSV file and then upload to your email marketing software so you can go through. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is absolutely everything covered. If you have any final questions, please send them through. But I just want to take this moment to thank you so much for coming along today. Those calls have come through. I can see the emails popping up of people coming through. So I look forward to speaking to you. I do have one literally in the next 10 minutes. So I'm going to jump. If you have any questions at all, please just drop me a message on LinkedIn, or for those of you that have booked your calls in, I look forward to speaking to you then. Have an amazing day, afternoon, evening, if you're watching on the replay, whenever you're watching this. I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you very much and see you all later on. Peace.